hello there, YouTube. I am on the street glide trying to beat the rain. The rains are coming. It's like within the half hour, basically, there's a 40% chance of rain. It's supposed to, well, you know, actually it was like 2 o'clock. I'm behind the time. I didn't even realize it was 2 o'clock already. It's that time is now. But anyway, I'm gonna try to do a recorded run, and which is nothing special. There's nothing to see. I just turned the VCI into record mode. Just push the button and wait till the light flashes and just drive her around. It looks like for sure we're going to get it today because I can physically see it coming. You look to the east and it's all nice and pretty, and it's just the way it's been all day today. It's all just gorgeous out there. You look to the west, that's what's coming. I'd like to take a tour through that guy's stuff out there one day. Although it slowly seems to be thinning out, but he's got some cool old stuff out there. Little Kawasaki police bike there. I can hear the theme song of Chips in my head. So it looks like old Camp Calam or Cowlitz, Camp Cowlitz, or I forget what the sign said. Oh, it was the Cowlitz Motel. That's what it was. It's now turned into a RV park of sorts. It was a really cool old sign. You know, and I stopped on the side of the road in my FJ Cruiser one day. You can still see the framework of the sign. My wife was telling me, you take pictures of the weirdest things. I said, you never know when something old and classic like that is just not going to be around anymore. And lo and behold, it was like 2 weeks later we come through here, and it was gone. They dismantled it. They took all the face off of it and left the frame there. So, buffalo, several buffaloes. 78 degrees, but it is quite humid out here. So I'm not going to make a long run. It only has to be, well, the maximum it can be on a record is 15 minutes. And I'm just gonna goof around and record that. But what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna get back and I'm gonna show you how it all goes down. And let you see what I do. Hopefully I can do this in a short period of time, not make this thing lengthy or anything, and hopefully I can bust it out quick and you guys can see what I do when I do it, and be interesting to see what changes are left. It runs really good. I still get, when I roll off, every once in a while I get a plop plop. But it could be that cat, you know, setting off unspent fuel in there. So anyway, let me goof around here a little bit. There's no sense in you watching me do this. I kind of thinking about what I'm doing. It's hard to concentrate and talk, but I'm gonna do that, and I'll be back. So we'll chit chat with y'all here in just a moment or two. For you, it'll be real fast. For me, it's going to be a little bit. So we'll talk to you here in a bit. We'll see you now. Bye. There, YouTube. So, as you just seen, I signed off and I finished. I went up Telegraph Road and goofed off a little bit and ended up coming down 505. And anyway, I got a full run out of it, and I goofed around and, you know, tried to get as many variables as I can. But let's show you how this all works. So how I have this, I just got the excess cord stuffed in the hole there where the driver's backrest slot is there. There's the VCI. and you can see that it's still in the record mode. When I turn the key on, the light comes on and stays on. So I'm not going to hit the record button, but it's the VCI is in its record mode. But we're not gonna mess with that right now. We can turn everything off. Let it boot down here for a second. All right, so plug in your USB B connector, the old printer ports of yesteryear, and just stuff this thing somewhere out of the way. All right, when I turned the bike on with this thing connected, you can see this was the screen. Sorry, I had the fans going to try to cool things off in here because the bike puts off heat. But you can see the last I was there, I clicked the VCI record start, and that's what put it in that mode. And now you'll see this screen. This is the Screaming Eagle software, and you'll see when I turn it on, it's on. This thing will switch over. You'll see the bike will connect. Now it's linking to it. So now we're going to download the data that the VCI recorded. Connect VCI to PC, turn ignition key on, run, stop, switch, run, download. So do not under any circumstances interrupt the power to the VCI during the setup or download. And I just put a little note here. I put today's date. It's the 8th today, right? Let's put stage 1, third run. Just give it a little note. And then what I do, so in case something's weird and I know where this file's at, but just in case, I hit print screen and it caches that screenshot. So it continues with the VCI number, and then it's number 4. Number 1 was when I hooked up. Actually, I mistakenly hit twice yesterday. If you notice in the video, I hit it and I'm like, what? And I hit it again. I actually hit it, recorded a few seconds, and I must have hit a bump and hit it again. So I started and stopped. So there was yesterday there was 2 and 3, and but 3 was the main file. 2 was just a short one. So give this thing a second to upload this, and bike's just sitting here. Doesn't do anything, doesn't make any sounds. When you flash it back, you'll hear a reboot. It's crazy how you can hear that highway sometimes. Oh, I'm in regular 1080p mode. I need to be careful how quick I bounce around. Sophie, what's going on? You old rat dog. Huh? You like it when I leave the door open. You guys can come and go. There's a little chance out there. Barrel. That wasn't enough love, huh? Yeah, this is my old Sony Vaio, old tried and true. I've had this thing. I bought it brand new before going to a wedding photography training course at Niagara in Ontario, Canada in 06. And I brought Kelly along because she would shoot and would help. You know, we're doing all the wedding photography. So I brought her along, and it was a 3-day training course, I think it was. And we were supposed to just come home from there. Man, it was everything I could do to keep her from seeing those damn tickets. Because I surprised her and took her to Manhattan, and we spent a week in Manhattan. And we stayed at the Marriott, I think it was, just a block and a half, whatever it was, from Ground Zero. So we had a great time. So I bought this and a spare battery for it, and I've been using it ever since. So here's my I
kicked out too soon. Low tuning calibration is my second one. Usually it selects this right away. It's kind of weird. It didn't. Here's second run. That was done last night. Oh, because I restarted the computer. There's the working air-fuel ratios. But what we're going to do, we're going to drag, because this was yesterday's file. This was after the second run. So you're going to want to open up VE, volumetric efficiency table, and you want to drag the working file for the front cylinder over here. So this is the working file. This is where it was set yesterday. And then you want to drag over here, and you want to take the VE table for the rear cylinder, dump it here, and we're going to work with the front one first here. So I'm going to drag this up, and down here at the bottom is SmartTune. We're going to drag SmartTune and display this in here. Now we want to use SmartTune to adjust yesterday's second run. So add new file, and of course it takes me right to my documents. Wow, that's weird. It literally kicked me out of everything. Application data, old Windows XP. Take you a second to. I think it was. Yeah, Super Tuner, Delphi, recordings, and that was number 4. So I'm going to select that file, and this kind of wigs the computer out here for a second. But that's the number 4, the 4th recording right there. So we're going to open that. And this is where it kind of like freaks the computer out. Oh, took it, no problem. Maybe it's when I hit generate. So anyway, I've added this to the SmartTune thing. I want to generate it. Give her a second here. This is processing data. Please wait. That's probably as much this old Windows XP computer as anything else. It was Windows XP Pro. Is that what they called it? Pro? Yeah, something like that. This was one bad boy at the time. It was small and durable and never had a lick of problem with it. Oh, it says it's complete. So I need to interpolate it, and then I want to update. So now this is the changes from this last run that it made. Now I was noticing I was still having a little bit of a flat spot in the 4 to 5500, you can see. So I played kind of hard in that area, and you can see it's in the 60 to 100% throttle range. And then I did a lot of slow stuff, you know, normal how I would ride it type stuff. So there's the front cylinder. So let's do this to the rear. Drag this up, drag this over. We want to take the SmartTune from the rear, and you'll see it already fills it with that file. See, it's number 4, you know, _4. So you want to generate it. Kind of the same thing, because the front and rear cylinders, you gotta remember, these things are literally 2 living animals. They're doing their own thing over there. Of course, they're you know, they're connected to the same crankshaft. So, but I mean, as far as their tune, they're different. Interpolate, update. So now I have. This is what SmartTune suggests to change on both the front. Let's see if it did some high-end stuff on this one as well. Hope you guys aren't getting a reflection. So again, 100% throttle between 3000 and 5500. It made some changes, which is what I wanted to see. I wasn't riding it enough in that area yesterday. I was still noticing a little bit of a flat spot there. So I go one step further. There's an app called MyTune. I think it was 30 or 40 bucks or something. And okay, cool. It saved the last. You got to find one that uses the same TPS settings. Roughly, it's not a true TPS setting, but it goes from 1.4 to 100%, and then the idle is 875 to 8,000 on these. Man, apparently these motors are capable of revving crazy high. The Sportsters go from, I think it says 800 to 9,000. I know you can rev the dog poop out of a Sportster with different tunes. I just had to kick out and come back into it. It's no big deal. So I want to get all these cells. I copy all of them. All right, so there's all the cells for cylinder 1. I want to copy and MyTune. Just want to make sure I'm in the right cell. Control V. There's those. Go back to Super Tuner. I'm going to drag over to the rear cylinder. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to copy all the cells. Now this is Screaming Eagle Smart Tune suggestions for changes. But what I found is this just nicks it just a little bit more. It's basically kind of looking at the same thing, but it's taken the Smart Tune suggestion and that downloaded file and goes a little deeper. And I just like the way it definitely runs better. So we need to load that same file. We want to take the VCI, the number 4 reading. We're going to open this, and it's going to open it and generate it. So it's taking Smart Tune suggestion and even making some additional adjustments. And this thing, oh man, it works so good. And you can see the changes. All right, so all these different colored things. There's a couple of places that we're running too lean. There's a couple of places they're leaning out. Here's percent of change, and you can see it made some nice changes in that higher RPM. Look at that, 6.4% richer. It leaned a couple of spots at 3,500. But look at the rear cylinder. It added 3.9%, 3.5%. See, that was worth going out and goofing around with this. And you can see all the 0% where it didn't do anything. And here's corrections. It's just looking at the different things. Here's hit counts. And you can see where, obviously at 875 RPMs, there's no counts. But see, there's a lot of stuff in this range that you always see kind of a pattern here. But it's hard to have. I mean, think about it. You can't have the throttle basically closed at 6,000 RPMs. And you can't have it, 60. I guess I could. I don't have enough hit counts in there, so I probably need to do some more. Percentage of throttle. You just take some tape and you throttle close, throttle open, and you put some tape on the handlebar or on the grip, and then some tape on the side of the switch, and you make your own little percent of throttle, and it's easy to do. It's easy to mess with. So I'm gonna take these new VE tables, and we're gonna start where was I at last on the rear cylinder. So we'll do the rear first because the screen's sitting there. we're going to grab all of this, and that's going from 1.4 all the way to 100. These are the new VE tables that they're suggesting. So I'm going to copy those, and because this is already selected, I'm just going to paste it. Bam, there she is. There's the changes that are going to be made on the rear cylinder. All the stuff in blue is where there's changes. So let's go over here to the front cylinder. Let's select all of that and make sure you got the full chart. Sometimes this thing kind of closes down, you have the full chart. It kind of freaks me out. So I'm going to copy that. You don't ever want to make the mistake of copying the rear cylinder and the front cylinder, or you're going to have a weird running bike. So it's sitting there, everything is highlighted. And grab the thing here. So it's all highlighted. So I simply hit paste. And this is where it's a mixture of the Super Tuner and the MyTune, or Smart Tune. The Super Tuner Pro from the Screaming Eagle software, what their Smart Tune suggests, plus buffering it a little bit with MyTune. And now I'm going to save this as a new file, and because today's a different date, you're going to change the date, and we're going to call this the third run. So there she is. We're going to save it. There we are. So we're going to connect the bike again. See, there's a reason why I didn't do this. This is very, very boring. So, run switch is on. Turn the key on. Let the bike connect. And when you see that connect, you'll see that reflash is enabled. So the bike is connected. You select reflash. And by default, it picks the last running file. You can see 2015 SGS Stage 1, today's date, third run, plus MyTune. And then what I was telling you about earlier, enable Smart Tune Reflash, reset adaptive fuel. That sets everything that map will be 0 right down the board. So it'll have 20% adjustment each direction. Not a 20% between the hole, but 20% each direction. So I want to select adaptive fuel, select both of them, and now is where you don't want anything to happen. You definitely don't want anything to happen. A dog to run in and kick the cables loose, or have a freak of nature power outage, or a dirty bomb goes off over your house, because you will brick the ECM in this thing. She'll be done. So we're going to send it to it. This calibration should be used only for the process of data collection. So she'll progress here, sending data to the VCI, and then the VCI is going to push it to the bike, and then it's going to write what the ECM has back to the VCI, so that anybody, like if I was to sell this, they can hook up that VCI. You just heard the bike recycle. Hook up that VCI and see what I last flashed it, and probably void my warranty in the process. There's a warning saying that your warranty can be void by adding a race tune. Oh, here's my my Harley jacket I was telling you guys about. You can see that good. See, I had to go to, because it's a woman's garment, I had to go to 2XL, and it fits about like I say, it's halfway between a large and an extra large. It's a little snug, but this patch is really snug. And if I get the light just right, this thing, it's reflective. The Harley Davidson thing is in there. The vents work really, really well. And you kick those little lower vents on the bike up, and it pushes them right in these chest vents. Well, I gotta wonder, if you were
a well-endowed young lady, where would your woman parts go inside this thing? Because there's not additional room for a gal. I mean, do you guys just pack those things in? Any gals watching, let me know. Oh, and you kind of see it in here, the reflection on the inside of this. That's not this reflecting, it's what's underneath. There's like a waterproof bladder that's inside there. Really cool. Okay, so she's done. It says, after programming has completed, you must turn off the vehicle ignition switch and run stop switch. Wait 10 seconds before turning on the ignition switch and the run stop switch. So that's your last little warning. So it's been flashed. That tune has been recorded back to the VCI. And now, turn it off and turn it off. You gotta wait 10 seconds. I usually wait, 30 seconds just. Oh, my mouse is freaking out over there, wasn't it? Just to make sure it gets pushed through real good. So that's it. That's all there is. Initially the initial one is a little weird because, hi Abby, what are you doing, huh? What are you? Oh, you've been out in the sun. You're hot. You're a nut. But anyway, initially flashing the stage one, you go through and you tell it it's still 103 cubic inches. The fuel injectors are the same size, and for the initial setup anyway. And then you find, which is fun, find the map. I had to find the map for 14 and 15 touring air-cooled 1690 cc with stage 1 intake, stage 1 exhaust, and the ACR, which is automatic compression release, enabled. They have electronic decompression releases in there. I'm not going to burn a starter out and smoke some battery cables by trying to start this thing without the ACRs enabled. And I'm not sure why you would want to disable them. I have no idea. So I can show you guys how all this stuff is in here right quick. I'm sure I've gone way over long here. Release the old Soodle bags here, and I just shut them because you can hold them by the lid real easy. Set that aside, and we'll disconnect from the pooter. It's like a printer cable with USB A and B connectors on it. And pull my stuff out here. I have the Pro Tuner set up on the iron over there. This is a much higher quality. I'm sure the iron doesn't have this. It basically goes straight into this. So there must be some communication stuff going on here. But yeah, much higher quality cable for the CAN bus bikes than the. I need to always write down the bike and the last 8 of the VIN on here, so that I don't get confused which box goes to what. But let me grab my cover, which I set over here. How much room I'd have in here if I could talk my kid into coming down and picking up all this junk out of here. Oh, and whether you guys know this or not, 2014 and 15 Harleys, especially the touring ones, I know for sure. I couldn't tell you for sure on the other ones. Comes with a battery tender lead built in, and it's going into that loom, so it's literally built into the harness, which is really cool. So you got a very nice, and I twist this thing a little bit because otherwise the cap ends up hanging out on the bottom. When they slid the little boot on, this rolls across the bottom. It's hard to get the battery tender lead in, but a really nice waterproof connector. You make sure that's all plugged in, and you got a little hook lock here. I know it's hard to see, or you wouldn't be able to see it at all, but you'll find that
that little slot. Now that locks that in. And of course I popped it in before I swap this around here. This works a little better this way. Find the slot again. Maybe, yes, maybe, no, there we are. And then I just wrap the tender lead underneath this, and that's where that little rubber thing, which is going underneath again anyway, I just tuck that out of the way. In the wintertime I'll leave it out, or anytime I'm not, what's it hitting there? Oh, some gun's got a holder in there. It does. I didn't even notice that before. Actually has a holder for the tender lead in there. So that's all wrapped and neat and out of the way. And it's just a typical, you know, side cover with push pins. I love how you have all the information, you know, the date, all this was assembled and stuff like that. The bike was assembled, it's written right on there, 2 of 15, and this is 2/19 of 15. But cool stuff, huh? At 2:20, even has the time on it. Fine sand. Seems to be, looks like there was a check mark that was supposed to be hit there, but anyway, it's just typical, like Jap bikes and everything else, just a side cover. It pops on. Oh, here's the shock adjuster that is extremely sensitive, and it hydraulically adjusts the spring preload. Man, I'm almost convinced this thing is adjusting compression damping as well. In fact, on that, I'm gonna kick it a half a turn. It's got clicks for every half turn, so it's 2 clicks per turn. I'm just gonna kick it 1 back. But you know, installing the Screaming Eagle exhaust, it's just 1 clamp and then these 2 bolts, and you can leave this little hanger in there, but it slips in the rubber, so I just slip it out and it's off, and put the clamp on the new one. You're supposed to use a different clamp, but I've always used the stock one. I don't know why you're supposed to use a different one. I really have no idea. It works fine. But anyway, put the clamp on and slide this in, bolt it down, make sure that both mufflers are even with each other, because you know, when you slide them till they stop, they're not always exactly even. And then before you tighten the clamp down, because the muffler can rotate and move back and forth, you just make sure both of them are even, tighten your clamp down, double check, and you're good to go. That's all there is to it. There's the stock antenna wire, and that's where the antenna came out. That's hanging out over there somewhere. But that's all there is to it. Got my belt adjusted where it's supposed to be, and it made no difference in the tranny sound, so I mean, none whatsoever. But that's it. That's all there is to it. She's been reflashed. But anyway, there's a flash for the Screaming Eagle Super Tuner Pro, and this is what their software looks like. And that's MyTune, and there's a little folder I keep them all in. Nothing to it. That's it. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope that was fun. I hope I didn't make this too long, because I got the Hero 4 session sitting up there and I have no idea how long I've been recording. So I appreciate you guys watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care now. Bye-bye.